Cavalry, artillery, and infantry were all hindered by the dense woods at Guilford Courthouse. Cavalry and infantry have a hard time maintaining solid formations for charging the enemy in such dense terrain, and artillery cannot see and aim at distant targets in these woods. These are part of the reason General Greene decided to fight in this area. It made the movement, coordination, and communication of the advancing British difficult and chaotic. The excessive thickness of the woods rendered our bayonets of little use, and enabled the broken enemy to make frequent stands with an irregular fire, which occasioned some loss and to several of the corps great delay, particularly on the right. Presently our brigade major came, ordering to take to trees as we pleased. The men run to choose their trees, but with difficulty, many crowding to one, some far behind others. But we moved by order of our officers and stood in suspense. Soon the enemy appeared to us. We fired on their flank, and that brought down many of them, at which time Captain Tedford was killed. We pursued them about 40 poles to the top of a hill where they stood, and we retreated from them back to where we formed. Here we repulsed them again, and they a second time made us retreat back to our first ground, where we were deceived by a reinforcement of Hessians, who we took for our own, and cried to them to see if they were our friends, and shouted, "Liberty! Liberty!" and advanced up till they let off some guns, and then we fired sharply on them and made them retreat a little. Here the conflict became still more fierce. I observed an American officer attempting to fly. I immediately darted after him, but he fled with the utmost speed. I was gaining on him when, hearing confused noise on my left, I observed several bodies of Americans drawn up within a distance of a few yards. Seeing one of the guards among the slain, I stopped and replenished my own pouch with the cartridges that remained in his. Several shots were fired at me, but not one took effect. After a prolonged firefight, the Virginia militia gave way, but they broke up into smaller elements and continued to harass the British as they fell back. This causes the British Army to lose almost all of its cohesion by the time it reaches the American Third Line. The dense woods obscure their ability to see where their other units are, and the differing levels of rebel resistance cause some units to race ahead while others slog through one ambush after another. As the British Army attacked the American Third Line near the courthouse, we have a rush of events that occur in a small area. The 2nd Guards Battalion charged the 2nd Maryland Regiment and caused the inexperienced unit to break. As they attempted to roll up the American Third Line, they will be charged by both cavalry and infantry, and it will require a risky action by the British artillery to save them from destruction. They, having broken the 2nd Maryland Regiment and turned our left flank, got into the rear of the Virginia Brigade, and appearing to be gaining on our right, which would have encircled the whole of the Continental troops, I thought it most advisable to order a retreat. About this time, Lieutenant Colonel Washington made a charge with his horse upon a part of the brigade of guards, and the 1st Regiment of Marylanders, commanded by Colonel Gunby and seconded by Lieutenant Colonel Howard, followed the horse with their bayonets. Near the whole of the party fell a sacrifice. This conflict between the Brigade of Guards and the 1st Regiment of Marylanders was most terrific, for they fired at the same instant, and they appeared so near that the blazes from their guns seemed to meet. I mentioned earlier that the artillery employed solid shot for dense targets, and I have 2 examples on the table right here. Again, the 3-pounder example of a full cartridge, we have the 3-pound ball, the wooden sabot, and the powder bag, and then this is just an example of a solid shot for a 6-pounder. When their enemy moved into a wide line formations and got within close range, there was another type of ammunition that the artillery could use. At the 3rd line, we have guns firing on lines of infantry that are about 150 yards away. What they are firing is grape shot and case shot. When the ammunition is fired from the gun, the casing comes apart and the projectiles spread out, turning the cannon into a giant shotgun. Instead of one solid iron ball flying through the air, you now have multiple iron balls, about the size of golf balls, creating a cone of death that rips through the air. Cornwallis, seeing the cavalry regathering to either make another attack on the guards or potentially attack him and his artillery, fired into them and successfully repelled another attack. But it is likely that by using such an ammunition that scattered in such a wide pattern, they accidentally struck some of their own men. The enemy's cavalry was soon repulsed, by a well-directed fire from two 3-pounders just brought up by Lieutenant McLeod, and by the appearance of the Grenadiers of the Guards and of the 71st Regiment, which, having been impeded by some deep ravines, were now coming out of the wood on the right of the Guards, opposite to the courthouse. With Greene's army retreating from the courthouse area, there is one last fight to be completed before the battle is over. A separate fight has split off on the south side of the battlefield. There, the Regiment von Botha and the 1st Guards Battalion are being worn down by militia and Lee's Legion. But as Lee takes his men away from the separate fight to investigate what has happened near the courthouse, Tarleton will arrive to save his beleaguered comrades. Tarleton says that he ordered the Guards and Hessians to fire a volley on the largest party of the militia, and under the cover of the smoke, he doubled round the right flank of the Guards and charged the enemy with considerable effect, and the enemy gave way on all sides. Presently, the light horse came on us, and not being defended by our own light horse, nor reinforced, though firing was long ceased in all other parts, we were obliged to run, and many were sore chased and some cut down. With the completion of Tarleton's charge, the fighting at Guilford Courthouse finally ended after 2.5 hours. Both armies now transitioned to caring for the wounded, and many buildings within a 5-mile radius of this battlefield were used to shelter the wounded. The British Army suffered 93 men killed, 413 wounded, and 26 missing, over a quarter of their army. The American Army suffered 79 men killed, 184 wounded, and well over 1,000 listed as missing due to the tendency of many militia to leave the field feeling that their duty was now done. Many more men listed as wounded by both sides would die in the days to come, as the medical practices and technology of the era were unable to save them from infection and hemorrhaging. This part of the country is so totally destitute of subsistence that forage is not nearer than 9 miles, and the soldiers have been 2 days without bread. I shall therefore leave about 70 of the worst of the wounded cases at the New Garden Quaker Meeting House with proper assistance, and move the remainder with the army tomorrow to Bell's Mill. They returned back the next day to Guilford Courthouse and found that Cornwallis had buried his dead in a rather hasty manner and left the ground. General Greene had our killed buried and again pursued Cornwallis. The night of the day on which the action happened was remarkable for its darkness, accompanied with rain, which fell in torrents. Near 50 of the wounded, it is said, sinking under their aggravated miseries, expired before the morning. The cries of the wounded and the dying, who remained on the field of action during the night, exceed all description. Such a complicated scene of horror and distress, it is hoped, for the sake of humanity, rarely occurs, even in a military life.